Utah has one of the worst voter participation rates in the nation when accounting for the percentage of citizens of voting age who cast a ballot. How will you work to activate voters and get them to the polls for Democrats?
As we saw last spring, it's not enough to get people to come out, register to vote, and vote one time for one candidate. The problem is getting people to continue to show up and vote. It's not enough to just register voters at an event. We have to maintain a relationship with them so that they're inspired and motivated to vote. One of the things that helped with voter turnout was the vote by mail that we saw in most of the counties last year. There was some miscommunication or a lack of information because the program was so new, but if we continue to spread information about how to fill out your mail-in ballot, that it's a real ballot, don't throw it away, drop it off at any polling location, that will go a long way. We also need to be working in communities that traditionally don't turn out to vote at the same rates. That means showing up year-round, not just when it's time to ask for their vote. We need to be working in marginalized communities, supporting their efforts, and getting to know them. We can't just show up in October and say, hey, we're Democrats, we're going to have your back, because we don't have their back. We're not doing a good job reaching out to these disenfranchised people. We also need to bring in some more diversity into the inside of the party, and party leadership, and caucuses. We need to strengthen our issue caucuses so that they can be working year-round, getting to know people. I'm on the Stonewall board, and we do 2 service projects a month where we get to know people outside of our political bubble. They get to know Democrats and realize we're good people too. We also need to be organizing our precincts. We've got this great structure in place that gets every household accounted for within a precinct, but there's not a lot of follow through in that process. Representative Elizabeth Waite came up with a really good idea. They're called precinct picnics or precinct parties if the weather is bad, where these are non-political events. You invite everyone in your precinct to a barbecue, to a cocktail hour, to some sort of family-oriented event so that we get to know our neighbors. One of the reasons voter turnout is so low is because people are bowling alone. I don't know if you remember that book that came out, Putnam wrote it. People who are involved in civil organizations, they're more likely to vote. So if we as Democrats reach out to these existing organizations and connect with them and inspire them to vote for Democrats, those are the people most likely to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonardo.
Would you repeat?
Absolutely. Utah has one of the worst voter participation rates in the nation when accounting for the percentage of citizens of voting age who cast a ballot. How will you work to activate voters and get them to the polls for Democrats?
Okay, so this, I believe this participation is very low, not just for everyone. In my case, in my community, working with the immigrant community, because that's what I do. I'm a court interpreter, and I see these people don't really understand the system. Some of them obviously don't know the language. So we need to be more proactive in giving that information to these people in their language. They're citizens now and they can vote, and they feel that, like I said at the beginning of my presentation, they don't belong to this community. For some reason, they still attached to their countries. So we need to present a message, and in my case, and I'm talking more about the immigrant community because I'm working with this community, and I represent this community because I'm an immigrant myself. So we need to be more proactive in helping these people and a clear message in their language. And that will be a very big impact to turn out the voting, and so people will vote more. Also, to let them know the Democratic Party is the party that has always been respectful of immigrant rights. And many of them don't know that because they think politics is all the same. And we have to be very clear about our values as a Democratic Party. That is the party that accepts minorities, accept gays, accept women, is the party of everyone. And that message has to be clear, also in the wrong language as well.
Thank you. And Rob.
When I was in Davis County, I was the Davis County chair. I lived in Davis County for about 15 years. I can't tell you how many times I heard these words. I thought I was the only Democrat in this county. I thought I was the only Democrat in this neighborhood. I'd go walking and go canvassing and go. In fact, when we canvassed for Peter Caroon when he ran for governor, I think it happened 3 or 4 times where, well, you're coming. I thought I was the only Democrat on this block. And I'd say, well, did you happen to know that your next door neighbor is also a Democrat? That this person over here is a Democrat? We have to do a better job of reaching out to people. I like what you said, Leonardo. In the Hispanic community, we have 3,000 new people that could be registered voters every month. 3,000. And there's a lot of other minority communities where we can go after them. But as chair of the State Democratic Party, I'm not going to just sit behind the desk. We're going to have an executive director that can do most of the daily work of the party in there. Because we've got to go out and reach out to, just like we were talking about reaching out to these, to the Utahns Speak Out and the other groups, we have to be an asset to our young people and our old people in all our communities. We need to go out and win their trust. We need to go look them eye to eye and let them know that we believe in them and that we are going to work for them. I happen to know that if you get somebody to vote, especially women, if you can take a new voter and get them to the polls 3 times, it's proven, there's the statistics are out there, that they will vote for the rest of their lives. So it has to do with canvassing, it has to do with not only taking the 10,000 names, but actually giving them a reason to show up. One of the things I want to do as chair is I actually want to start internships all around this state where we get high school credit and maybe college credit for young people, so that they have internships that matter in campaign management, in field work, and in communications. Wouldn't it be great that county parties, that we're actually an asset to them, that they can go and we'll do the research, we'll do press releases for them, and what they can do is show up and have some of that stress taken off them. And it would be our young people doing that work. And when they're involved and when we give them those opportunities to really learn what politics is about, as again, what my co-candidate said here, is that people don't understand the system. Well, let's get an army of people that understand what we can do, that understand what they can do to make a change in this state. It's time for us to have a statewide party. And really, we just need to not only get people's names, but then go knock on their doors, have like you said, neighborhood ledge parties. And we also have to understand one thing. We always see this hierarchy, chair, vice chair, county chairs, ledge chairs. We're all equal in our obligation to each other to go out and do the work.
Thank you.